Hey Magic fans, I'm Joe. Thanks very much for joining me today. If you'd like to support my channel, please check out the link above to my Patreon page. I'm here with a replay of the second queue that I played with this 4-color Soulherder deck. Again, it's a queue, not the greatest competition in the world, but just people having fun. So I actually did a video on these kinds of hands. On the draw, with 1 mana that can cast a Hierarch, and a 2-drop, I sort of discovered that it was better to keep these hands if you're on the draw, better to mulligan them if you're on the play. So I'm on the draw, and I'm going to keep the hand, particularly since I've got an Oko on turn 2 if I draw land. So opponent starts with Leyline of the something. Leyline of the Meek, that gives creature tokens, and that means, you know, my Hierarch is going to be safe, so they could path the exile up, but that just gives me a land. And there's that 3rd mana source. So I'm going to open with that Temple Garden straight into the Hierarch. Oh, the opponent has monetized. What is this? All right, so yeah, I can't pay that. That's pretty rough. Oh, I was so excited, and then, wow, monetize. Honor of the Pure. All right, so kind of a slow opening. I'm going to want to bring in Force of Vigor to deal with these kinds of enchantments. Drew Force of Negation. Could be okay against this deck, I guess. You know, if they have like a Lingering Souls, countering that is pretty good because we exile it. They don't get to flash it back. All right, that was a beautiful rip right there off of Coiling Oracle. Okay, Godless Shrine. Oh, they're going for Lingering Souls, and yeah, I'm not really feeling that because Lingering Souls can make 4 3/3s right now. And yeah, that would just wreck us. So even though we had to get rid of Oko to do it, I feel like that was the correct choice. I'm going to go ahead and ephemerate this Coiling Oracle, draw 2 cards. Play a land. That's pretty good. Hit it again. And yeah, it looks like it hit another land and then drew me a Force of Negation. Go ahead and grab this Eternal Witness. Sorry, play the Eternal Witness, get back Force of Negation. Go ahead and ephemerate the Eternal Witness right away, grab another ephemerate, potentially get like a double loop going on. Got Force up if the opponent has like a Wrath or something like that. But they're just passing, so maybe they've got some instant speed stuff. I forgot to crack this on the end step. We definitely want to thin the deck, but could also just wait to see what colors we draw. If we draw another land, it's... Alright, so we hit a land off Coiling Oracle. I'm going to go ahead and bring that in untapped. There's really no pressure on my life total here. Now, the opponent could have, what is it, like, raise the alarm or something like that, where it's like flash creature tokens, but I could always just ephemerate the Eternal Witness, so not really afraid of that. As it turned out, they did not have that, so... opponent, I don't know what they're drawing here, I guess just some lands. Being able to counter that Lingering Soul is obviously pretty strong. Opponent goes for Path, but I've got the 2nd ephemerate in hand, so... that resolved. Coiling Oracle hits another land, and you can see we're ramping pretty hard here. So both of these are going to hit Eternal Witness and get back 2 ephemerates. So I got back 1, because I only cast 1 there, but I can get back multiple whenever I want. Charming Prince is a nice draw, because it gets I can blink the Coiling Oracle, keep drawing cards, hits another land. The opponent scooped because they couldn't really compete with the value. They know that I have at least 1 Force of Negation in hand, and this deck doesn't really play creatures per se. It just plays spells that make creatures. So being able to counter those spells that make creatures is pretty strong. So fairly straightforward game 1. Force of Negation actually pretty clutch there, being able to deal with what would have been 4 3/3 flyers. So yeah, got there game 1. Let's go ahead to game 2, see how that one went. All right, back with game 2. For the sake of expediency, I think I'm just going to not show the sideboard, and as we draw sideboard cards, I can point them out, but these are just cues. They're kind of fun games to get a feel for this 4-color Soulherder deck. This is a Snap Keep. It's got mana to cast a 2-drop, potentially mana to cast Assassin's Trophy. 1 more land will hit Siege Rhino. Winds of Abandon, probably the most important card here, since we're playing against sort of a go-wide strategy. So an excellent opening hand. Opponent, looks like the opponent mulliganed to 5. So we're going to play a tapped Hallowed Fountain here. I drew Soulherder, so hand developing pretty nicely. I wouldn't mind hitting a land or two, though, here. Okay, opponent has Legion's Landing. It's going to make a token. I'm going to untap, play Prismatic Vista, grab a Forest, and play Hierarch here. The idea, I guess, being that I can ramp out to the Siege Rhino. All right, Intangible Virtue. The opponent is missing their 3rd land drop, which kind of makes sense since they only started the game with 5 cards. So yeah, Hierarch on turn 2 allows me to play a Siege Rhino on turn 3. That's a huge blocker against this Vampire. Opponent has Declaration in Stone, though, so a pretty good answer. Does give me a clue. Opponent gets in for 2. Force of Vigor is pretty funny since they have 2 enchantments. And I'd rather not sort of lose card advantage by doing it at instant speed on their turn. So I'm just going to hardcast this thing here. Blew up both of their their enchantments. They're continuing to miss land drops. They play a 2nd Legion's Landing, get a 2nd Vampire. And they keep chipping in. It's okay because I'm almost at 6 mana where I'll, be able to wins if I want to. Let's see. So what land would you guys get cracking that Windswept Heath there? So I've got 1 green, 1 white, 1 blue, 1 black, and then of course the Hierarch. So based on our hand, if we want to cast 2 spells next turn, we could go Coiling Oracle, Soulherder, in which case we would need blue, blue, green, white. So we got blue, blue, green, then we would need another white, or we could go blue, white, green, in which case we need another blue. So I took a Temple Garden. That's going to let me go green, white, blue. No, hang on. There's 1 generic that we could do in that sequence, and that would be the black, right? So we're going to go blue, black, white, and then blue, green to get the Oracle onto the battlefield. So let's start off with Oracle. And Witness is a pretty nice card, but I'm going to go ahead and just play the 2nd Hierarch here. I kind of like the idea of opening up the mono, especially while the opponent is missing land drops. We can also crack the clue on the end step. Opponent has Nile Spellbomb. I believe that the Oracle revealed that I drew an Eternal Witness, so decent draw for the opponent hitting Spellbomb. They're going to get in. I blew up their Intangible Virtue, so these guys are just 1/1s now. Definitely not afraid of them. Definitely going to crack the clue. All right, Ephemerate is pretty amazing. Another Eternal Witness makes this first Nile Spellbomb look pretty bad. So there's nothing I really want from the graveyard. So I guess the opponent would rather I didn't blow up their Legion's Landing. So going to get in with Double Exalted, I think. Opponent goes from 23 down to 20. And then second main, I think I kind of want to run out an Eternal Witness at some point to get the opponent to sort of crack that Nile Spellbomb, particularly while, well, let's see. They can currently pay black mana, so I'd actually rather they don't crack this thing now, because I'd rather keep them off the card draw. And they know that I have the Eternal Witness in hand, so they're probably going to hold off. So go ahead, blink this Oracle. Opponent lets that go. Continuing to ramp us. Oracle is so good in this deck. All right, nothing we can do about that Lingering Souls, but we can kind of wait a little bit now because we do have that Winds. If they go ahead and just commit everything to the board because they feel like they're falling behind, Winds will just win. Winds is also a combo with Soulherder out. So they can't even get in now that I have a 2/2 Soulherder. They are tapped out now, so I decided to get in with the 4/4 Herder here. If they quadruple block, I can just Ephemerate the Oracle, and then it'd be a 5/5 and just blow them out. But they didn't block, so they go down to 16. So let's go for the Witness here. Now that they're tapped out, let's see if we can get them to blow up their Spellbomb for no value. And they do, so they don't get to draw a card. We've got a ton of mana left. There's no real reason to overextend, particularly when we have like instant speed Coatl if we want to do that. Blink the Oracle. I think it got another land. Lingering Souls. All right, so there's that sort of overcommitment to the board. I am going to Assassin's Trophy the Legion's landing in response to them swinging with 3 or more creatures. They get to go get another basic land, but they're not going to be able to make more creature tokens. Well, it doesn't really matter with this Winds in my hand. Opponent's going to path, or try to path, the Soulherder, and I'm not really feeling that, so I can use Ephemerate to counter the Path to Exile. Go ahead and flash in this Coatl because I'm going to do it anyway. Drew a Charming Prince, which is kind of nice insurance. Just going to loop the Ephemerate here with Eternal Witness. That's pretty much always the play, as long as you've got your mana sort of set up. You just always want to get the rebounded Ephemerate back with Eternal Witness if possible. Charming Prince is interesting because if they do have like a Wrath of God or something, we can just save a creature with Charming Prince. But I think it's just time to cast the Overload now. And yeah, all 6 of their creatures go away. Soulherder is going to get 6 more counters. Opponent gets to find some lands, and I get to swing in for 10. I'm going to play Charming Prince. As I mentioned, it just gives me a little bit of play against board wipes. So I did, in the end there, get back the Winds of Abandon with a blinked Eternal Witness. So if the opponent rebuilds here, we've got another board wipe. And the opponent's a little bit desperate, I think. Leyline, Spectral Procession, they know we have the Winds back in hand, or they might have just like tuned out. But I'm just going to cast it again, and there's really nothing they can do. So Winds of Abandon, extremely strong against creature decks. Our deck has a way of maneuvering the game into like turns 8, 9, and 10. That's when Winds just blows him out, particularly in combination with Soulherder. So opponent did mulligan to 5 this game, so not the best hand for them, I guess. But we just did a good job and crushed them. The Black Splash not doing a ton this time around. I think we saw Rhino in game 1, but Assassin's Trophy blew up a Legion landing. I guess that counts for something. And yeah, that's it. Leave your thoughts down below. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. And please, if you'd like to support the channel, check out my Patreon page. And tune in for the next video where I'll be back with a third Q replay with this 4-color Soulherder deck. I'll see you guys there. Bye.